Hey guys, and welcome to the channel, Hyphens Classics. A little bit of a different start today, and that's purely because I forgot to do a start before last weekend when I was filming this. Anyway, no big problem. Okay, so what's on the cards today? Rear brake pads going in, the handbrake cables go on, we've got to flush out the brake fliss system because we're changing from .4 to .4 5.1. And just checking the front brakes as well. There is a little bit I missed, but enjoy the content and we'll see you at the end. Right, there's a lot to be said to making sure, I think I've said this before, where, when I'm building something, I tend to finger tight stuff, and then, as you're putting things together, you want to make sure things fit, so you finger tight stuff, and then you come back and you tighten everything up. But, if you do something, then you go do something else, and you go do something else, and then you think you've done something, you got to be so careful. So I was coming up just to check the disc run out on this, and noticed that it had a bit of a wobble in it. Now, if you probably can't see it, but you might be able to hear it. And I was thinking to myself, what the heck? So I checked the other one. The other one's fine. I was thinking, what could I have done? I'm sure I tightened everything up. But then I remembered I put this on very quickly as a test fit. And then when I did the other fitting over the other side, which you've actually seen me, that was filmed, I took all of this off and I buttoned down everything tight. And I felt round, and the second nut I felt on the hub is loose. So again, double check, triple check, quadruple check that you've tightened everything. Right, let's get on. We're gonna pop that off and tighten it. So I want to check the run out on this, so that once we've done that, we can put these on, tighten them up, and then what I want to do, like I said, is gonna undo the brake lines a little bit. Because what I want to do, like I said, is run out the fluid. That's the next thing on the list. So it's got to be a little bit careful, because I hate the fact that these nuts are very easy to round them off. So you've got to be a little bit careful. But we will probably loosen this one off on the other side, and then we'll also possibly loosen the rears from down under here, and undo those and just run some fluid through. Get a good drip of that going, make sure we've got all of the .4 out before we seal that up and put the .5 in, because what I don't want is I don't want any remnants of the .4 coming through these new lines here and into the calipers, and that's the fronts and the rears. So we're just going to try and button these up, and then we're going to have a look at draining some fluid through. Okay, I've just disconnected these from the other end because we need to pull them up and over here. Hopefully that's kind of in focus. So it shouldn't be too bad. Yank that up. Should be able to pull it back, even push it back the other way. Pull that one up, get that in. Okay, in you go. One-handed, never easy. Right, they're in place. I'll pull that up against there. One thing, because these are new brake cables as well, probably what we would do is make sure that this cable here up there'll be a nut adjuster somewhere. We get some light on it as well. It'll be somewhere around here, right there. You can see that right there. So we'll probably we'll see, we might have to back that off quite a lot just to get them connected up again, and we can adjust it once everything's connected. So as we can see now, that's a bit tight, so we might be able to push that down a little bit, but we've got brake pads in there now, so let's see if we can get it on. We might have to go and loosen up that nut on the handbrake, but I've got this funny feeling, oh no, we might be able to. Okay, so we're going to try and show you, because the main lights are up here. I'm trying to give you light that doesn't flicker, so it's not always going to be the best. What we've got is, obviously, I don't know, we'll have to do something about the top of this, obviously, because we're going from what that one says, .4. So, what do we got in here? Warning, clean filter cap before removing, use only .4, right? So .4 brake fluid. So we're going to have to change that because we're putting .5 and 5, not just 5.1. So .5, I've got .5 in the Land Rover. Oops, sorry again about the lighting. So where is it? Just so you can see it again, make sure I got that right. So there we go, .4. Again, I can't let me do this. So there, .4. So .5 I've got in the Land Rover. So 5s and 5.1s are more silicon based, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I put .5 in the Land Rover for a number of reasons. One, I was expecting there to be a possible leak, and of course 3 and 4 are very good at paint stripping, which I didn't really want to have to go through. So one thing with silicons though, they are a little bit thinner, and so it's possible that they can you know, find small holes, whereas a 3 or 4 may not. So as most of you probably know as well, 3 and 4 are mixable, 5 and 5.1 are mixable, 3, 4 versus 5, 5.1 not mixable. So what we've got is, I've got hopefully enough. I'm going to fill up the master cylinder there. What I've done is we'll go around quickly. So I've undone all the brakes there, as we can see. Just covered up the pipes into the cylinders. You just see also down in there. So same on both sides. And what we're going to do is put a little bucket under each of those. We're going to put some fluid into the master cylinder, as said. And we're just going to let gravity do its work. So we'll leave it overnight, see what happens, see what drips out the other side. Might have to put a little bit more in, but the idea is, as I said, there's nothing left in there. There'll be some in the lines back through to the ABS pump. Obviously, these lines have been replaced, so there'll be nothing in these at the moment. Now, whether gravity will get them up past here, yeah, maybe, maybe not. We'll see what comes out of that. Should do, because they're below this line here. So, but we'll see if gravity feeds it through. Then the lines will go down, it'll feed all the way out and drop out the back. We'll let that through. We might let a little bit more through as well. And then what we'll do is once that's done, we'll seal everything up and fill the system up with 5.1. Yeah. All right. So let's get on with that. Oh, sorry, one other thing. We've also got some hydraulic fluid, so we'll start filling this up as well. Again, using gravity to fill most of that up. One of the things we can do is obviously you just turn the steering wheel left and right to let the bubbles out, get some more in there. Maybe turn the car on for that, but it hasn't been on for a while, so we'll wait a minute. We'll wait for that, but again, see what happens. Okay, let's get on. Okay, very quickly guys, apologies, but I've had to rush around to get this sorted. I don't know if we can just see there, hopefully this has dripped through. So what I did, let's see if we can get the other one. So obviously as I showed before I had these tipped off, there you go. You can, let me hold it still. You can probably just see that dripping in there. So the other side's done it as well. We'll do one more. What I did, guys, let me just talk this way. As you saw, I had them all off. Right, so as I said, I had them all off, had all the pipes off. Put some in, as you saw. Gravity was taking too long, so I pushed the pedal a couple of times. Obviously it pours out the front. Pushed a couple more times trying to get out the back, and obviously path of least resistance is coming out the front. So we've put the fronts into the calipers, so they've had quite a bit go through there. Obviously I can't use that now, that's all contaminated. We've sealed those up though, a few more pumps on the pedal, so we've now got drips coming out there. I'm just going to go one a couple more times on the pedal back there. I'm going to do them back up, and then we've just got to hope, fingers crossed, that I've got enough fluid to actually fill up the system and then bleed it. I've got this feeling I'm probably not going to have enough, so we'll have to get some more during the week, but there you go, stuff happens. But that's it, that's where we're at. And again, sorry I didn't film it, it was just, I was rushing around, you know, between pumping and making sure things are coming out, and just didn't have the time to carry the camera with me. So that's what's done, and we're going to button that up now. Okay. Okay guys, that's going to be a wrap for today. What have we done? Got a lot of stuff done, which is quite good. Cleaned through all the brake fluid, as you've seen just before. Found a couple of bolts that I hadn't done up tightly, always a bonus. We'll go around and make sure, and we've double checked all of that sort of stuff. What else? We've put some power steering fluid back in. We've got all of the air filter ECU back in place from when we were doing the brakes. So that was all good, that's all easy. Handbrakes all connected up as well now. What else do we need to worry about? What I need to worry about now is the front brakes. So the run out. The first thing is, if you took a point from center and then you remove the disc around, is how far does the disc sort of stay level with that point, or does it move in and out? So maybe it's not centered properly. So that's one. And then there's obviously this way. So you don't want the disc wobbling in and out like this. Now that part's good. It doesn't do any of that. But one thing that is interesting, because this is a big brake kit and you have pistons either side, as a lot of you will know, is you don't want the disc sort of too far one side or the other. Because otherwise that pad's going to hit it first and try and push the disc out. It's not like your normal brakes that kind of counterbalance all that sort of stuff. Mine, these ones are, I mean, it's, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, maybe 1-2 mil, but that's a lot, I think, in my book. It does talk about, now one thing is, the problem is if it was too far this way, like on this side, no problem. There's shims, and I could put a couple of shims in, slowly push it out a bit. Same on that side, but it's not. The inside is too close, so you want to actually move it back inside the car, but there's no way of doing that without grinding away the mounting plate. I don't have the tools to do that effectively. So we'll have a look and see if there's anything we can do, but if not, I might have to take these to an engineering shop and get them to carve, you know, 1 or 2 mil off, because again, there's a little bit too much off. I can shim it back up, put those in to brace it out, but without those it's not going to work. All right, like I said, so close. Monday week this is going in for its wheel alignment, so we've got a little bit of time. I'm not overly worried about having the brakes completely working, but obviously now it's another week, I really want to make sure that's done. Unfortunately I can't really bleed the brakes because obviously the rotors aren't in the right place, and I really don't want to mess around with that at the moment. So we'll see. I don't know what else we'll be able to do with the car this weekend, because, you know, it's really waiting for that so we can put it on the ground. I'll have a think, see what else we can do. But one thing also, obviously we cleaned up the coil pack. One of the number 3 was all rusted up. Always keep check on those. So anyway, that's it folks. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care for now.